Right, I'm Mark Conway and I'm doing my essay on the ongoing success of FIFA. Yeah, go on. So, I'm sure everyone knows FIFA's a football game and the series started in 1993 with EA Sports as FIFA International Soccer, and it's grown massive, it comes out every year, so I want to look at why do people buy it, not just buy it, but why buy it every year. What makes them need to get the newest version and all that. And I'll look at also how is it at the top of its genre and how does it stay on top compared to any other competitors in just the football genre or the whole sports genre games. Yeah, so why do people buy it? Well, football's the biggest sport in the world, so people always want more football, so seems common sense that there'd be a game about it. Then people want to play as their favourite teams or their local team, and FIFA now in the latest version over 30 leagues, and leagues from every continent. Even the Irish crappy teams are in it, so you play as them. Even Limerick FC's in it, so yeah. Right, go on, next one.
Yeah, just point.
Alright. So why buy it every year? Well, there might seem there's only small improvements, but the improvements do add up over, like if you looked at a game, one of the games from 5 years ago to the current one, you'd see big changes, but from each version, one after each other, it might not seem like there's a lot done. But another thing is, as football's ever changing, people want to keep up to date with it. All the players, new players come in as 17-year-olds, and players get better and worse, so reflecting the latest version of the game, so people want to stay up to date with it. And they don't want to get left behind. If all your friends have it, you want to be in on the conversation of the new game, so yeah, you'd want to buy it for that reason as well. And every so often they do have big improvements, like this year they added the women's teams for the first time, so like 10 or 11 international teams. And the foot draft, an extra little game mode inside Ultimate Team, which is probably the biggest game mode of FIFA at the moment, so yeah, that's what they added. Next, I think a big reason why it's successful is it caters to sort of a wide selection of types of games or types of mentalities. Like you can pick it up and play for 20 minutes, or you can sit there for hours playing through career mode or trading on Ultimate Team. And you can play without giving, without caring about us having a story involved at all, or you have the option to have that sort of story mode in career mode, which it's not a proper story with proper like a proper storyline and characters and character development and all that, but it sort of facilitates a story that you can sort of develop in your own head if you wanted to. So yeah, the career mode, like you manage a team for up to 15 seasons, and it does provide like player stories. Like you see there, players can randomly start rebelling if you offer them a contract that's either not good enough or just they want to change the scenery, and players will ask to play. If you don't play them, they can get upset, and then it's a whole management, like man management side of the game. Yeah, go next one. And also the commentary sort of helps with the overall narrative, where it talks about like recent results or big transfers that happen. Like you see the top left, like that's Arsenal signed a player, but that's not Arsenal, have nothing got to do with your current game you're in, but the commentary will still talk about like the big changes of the whole game world. And go to the next one. And like you make a big sign, and then you get an article. Like there's a whole like sort of news section, so that helps with the the whole story, and then again it talks about it in game too. Yeah, go on. Another thing I think they're successful is it's available everywhere. Like you have it on the main consoles like PS4, Xbox, and PC, and then you also have to try to get you hooked on the free versions, which will be on all the mobile devices. And even there was a Facebook version a few years ago that I think it was only around for a few years, but it was sort of an Ultimate Team type version of mini game that was free. But I don't know, I just retired that. And there's also this thing called FIFA World, where it was like, it was for the PC as well. It was sort of like Ultimate Team, but it was a free to play version. I think just they tested it out, but weren't making enough money off, so they got rid of it, I think. And its competitors, if you see the global sales of last year's edition, it's just, you can't even compare. Like its main other rival in the football field, Pro Evo, sells over 10 times the amount. And then the two other big sports franchises, Madden and NBA 2K, their FIFA sells still 3 times the amount. I know it's probably because football is a bigger sport, but still a massive amount to sell more. I think the big reason why Pro Evo is so or not as loved as much as FIFA is they don't have the money, I don't think, to buy all the licenses for like the teams and press and kits, and that plays a big part of people's decision of what football game they'd want. Like you'd want to play as Man United or Liverpool instead of Manchester Red and Merseyside Red and all out the fake player names and all. Yeah, so that's all I have so far. I want to look more into the how PES.
Mark, did you explore the business model here? Do players get what do you call
image rights?
Rights, yeah. Do they get paid for?
I don't know. I think only a select few, like for the covers and stuff. Like Messi has a deal where he's getting like $1 million a year to be the face of the whole company or whatever.
Rooney was on it a couple of years ago.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They get money, but not the players that are named.
I don't know. They might get some small, but without to get much.
Yeah. Huge issue of localization.
Yeah.
I remember playing the Greek version of it,
Yeah.
and they employ the local
commentaries,
TV commentators.
Yeah, they've. I don't know how many they have, but like recently they had like an Arabic commentary added in the last few years, and you'd have like your Brazilian Portuguese and Spanish and whole range.
Yeah, have you done any comparisons to something like Call of Duty and why that sells so much in Europe here as well?
Yeah, I was looking at some of their figures, like they still outsell FIFA by double or even more, so I don't know, I think that's just, it's more of a broader type of game maybe.
Seeing the basic mechanics and dynamics of the gameplay itself, have there been any major leap forwards? You know, it always seems to be
the
guy running and somehow tackling it.
Yeah, like a few years, only the last like 4 or 5 years, they used to have like only 8 directions, like left, right, and diagonals. But then they had that, like with the use of the joystick or whatever. It was 360 dribbling, I think they called. Yeah, so every so often it had that big advancements, and like the graphics, every iteration they do look better. But I think I was looking now, like PES, I think are making a comeback. So cause they have this like Fox engine where it's really realistic looking players and stuff. So I think in the future we'll see a rise of PES having more of a say in that genre.
Yeah.
Do you think Pro Evolution Soccer is just a dummy competitor for the sake of having one, in the sense that no company can have a monopoly of one area, in the same sense that AMD is kind of Intel's dummy competitor?
I think I don't know if it's a dummy compare. I think it's, yeah, I think they're trying their best to outdo FIFA, but also just take some of FIFA's ideas. Like they have their own version of that Ultimate Team now. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, they have that, and the Master League is like their version of the career mode. I think they do some things better than FIFA, and maybe they will overtake them in the future. But
You were saying there that they have yearly iterations, so but it's only big changes every few. Do they really need yearly iterations, or is it just for money?
I'd say yeah, it's really
They could
just
update
for
all
money.
of the teams really just with, you know, patches.
I'd say yeah, it is just for money, because they even had like, if it's a year of a World Cup, they'd bring out another separate game for the summer, and yeah, they used to have like another separate game called Champions League or whatever, like 10 years ago, but they stopped that. And yeah, I think now instead of like the separate disc for like the World Cup, I think they're doing like DLC. They could pay like a 10 or 15 euro to have access to that, and yeah, they are greedy. So
So a similar event to that, is there anything stopping EA from just releasing, say, a full FIFA game every few years, but then a 6 month or yearly content update?
I'd say,
Technological.
I don't know, I think they know how successful they are, and they sort of do have that monopoly where they're still selling 10 times as much as the next best, but why stop, like?
I think one important point is in its popularity is you mentioned like you can have a game in like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
like the space of a lunch break.
Mm.
And I do think that is a big factor in its popularity, because like even on co-op, we had a PS4 set up in a room just for like user tests,
Yeah.
and then a couple of guys would always sneak in there on lunch break and play a quick game.
Oh yeah, it's what was the word? Yeah, you can play it in short bursts, or it suits all situations. Yes, yeah, good point too.
So to answer your question as to what do you attribute to success, is it brand loyalty, is it an expectation, demographic?
Yeah,
What's the demographic? 7 to
Demographic.
17? Yeah, what?
Demographic, I'd say, is teenagers and 20s men probably. But yeah,
But a lot of kids who wouldn't typically be hardcore gamers. I mean, is it casual gamers?
Well, the first one I got, I think it was 2004. I was about 10, and I've been getting it every year since. So, and that sometimes that's the only game I'll get for the year.
Mm.
That'll take all my interest. Like,
And also maybe, I think it also can take benefit of all the mediatic aspect of football, and even more during the World Cup. For example, the only time France won the World Cup in '98. After that, everyone got FIFA '98.
yeah, I seen there was an article about they noticed boosts in the sales after a major competition like the World Cup or like the Euros. And like I think this year it was down 7% because there was no major competition, major world competition.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, sorry. Just one of the things you mentioned yourself is that the popularity could be because you said that some people, it might be the only game they buy,
Yeah,
that they don't buy any other games, they just buy FIFA.
yeah.
So it's kind of just, it's when the new one comes out, they just buy the new one.
Mm.
And that could be as to why.
Yeah, I'd say it's many factors to their overall success.
And they're trying to branch out into the female market now because they're bringing out women's
Yeah, I seen
national
there's,
team.
I don't know who it was, some woman, I don't know who it was, but in 2013 she had a petition set up to like sort of put pressure on FIFA to add in women's teams, and they did this year after that Women's World Cup. Like.
Yeah.
Do you think the progression of their AI has improved their sales?
I think people would buy it anyways, but yeah, it does.
But why? Why? It's
because
expectation.
people
Isn't
love
it?
football, so if they want it anywhere they can.
Shovelware, basically. The same reason a lot of people would buy shovelware. I'm not saying FIFA's shovelware.
You are.
I'm saying it twice.
Okay, let's thank Mark.